740 is crazy. What's going on, everybody? All right, so we're just rejecting this little wedge pattern that I have drawn from pre-market, right? So this is pre-market level wedge drawn with the high of the day mark sitting here at 396.50. I'm looking for a good trade on here. I haven't done anything today. Yesterday I had a decent day, but I was just scalping, and I usually don't like to trade much. I've traded SPX a couple times, and I lost out on Tesla, so I'm literally up 15 bucks. So this is like my first real trade on the day, and I'm looking for that 500 bucks to $1,000 here. And I think that we're going to get it here pretty easily. So I'm looking at this uptrend that we're testing right now. I don't think that we're going to break down. I think we're going to end up breaking through this and retesting that high of the day. So I'm waiting for these contracts to get a little bit cheaper, and I would love to scale into them. I might look at the 3985s because it's going to break high of the day and run towards that level. So I might look at these 4.7s here. See if we can get them a little bit cheaper, but I am looking for that high of the day break. So I'm going to try and scale in here at 4.6. I know this is kind of kicking it right off here. I'm trying to get in. It's a very, very choppy day, so be very careful. Maybe I'll try 4.7 here. See if it'll fill me at 4.7. It's gonna be pretty choppy. If it rejects a little bit, I'll keep my stop loss very small. Maybe like $50 a contract. I'm just gonna try to go in lightly here, see if we can start getting that boost towards that high of the day. But if it doesn't end up going, then I'll obviously stop myself out. It's at 440. I think I'm going to get in a couple of these here. It's dropping down a little bit here. I'm just waiting for a little bit of a support line bounce. I don't see much action today, but I would love to see this break this wedge pattern. I'm going to get rid of this. Down $40 on the trade. I'm looking at a resistance level here. It looks like high of the day, or the open of the day, is a good support level to bounce off of. Might try and scale in another one here. I know it's been riding up quite a bit, but we are in a squeeze pattern. I'm looking over here on the 15-minute chart. We did reject that. Same with the 15 here, but it almost looks like we're going to break that almost easily. That yellow line is the high of the day. That's my target price. I think we'll end up breaking out above that. So I'm going to be patient on this trade. It's a very, very choppy trade. So I wouldn't really follow it too much. As you can see, if you can see how we haven't moved much at all today, these contracts have not been paying. They went from 311 to 540 on this entire spike up, which on a usual day, if this was like, a $2-3 jump, these would have been worth almost 900 a piece. So these aren't going to move too much. So I got to make sure that if it does start to break down towards that VWAP level, I'm going to scale out here. And then obviously I would re-enter back in. But this Bollinger Band starting to expand looks nice to me. Just trying to look for that retest of this downtrend break. So this wedge pattern is coming from the daily chart, or the pre-market level on the 5-minute chart. So I'm looking for a little bit of a reversal. This looks like a nice squeeze to me. I don't think this is going to be a rejection, but we'll see. No, I guess I probably should tell you my contract is the 3985 SPX calls for today expiration, and I'm down about 30 bucks. I haven't really been able to trade much. I got stopped out on Tesla earlier, and I'm down $30 on this trade. So we'll see. We'll see what happens here. But even one contract here could easily pay $300 if it starts to spike up towards that level. Could get towards that $700, $800 mark. So just over here, there hasn't been any opportunities. So this might be a little bit of a force, but I'm playing it regardless. If it breaks down below the support line, I might take like a $70 loss. Call it good from there. For now, at least. Down to 430. The question is do I want to add into this for this breakout? Because I feel like it's really going to happen. We just might get some consolidation maybe towards this VWAP line to go up. Usually I don't like to trade these middle zones, but I see a nice squeeze happening right now. There's not any volume in today, so the SPX is almost like a death trap. Yeah, sell premiums for sure. Usually, today is a perfect day to sell. Especially if you're selling like Coinbase or Square. Those were two great paying premiums. I wouldn't really sell calls in this situation as the market's starting to spike up, because it looked like a lot of things were heading the other way. But as of right now, I am in the call side, and I purchased them. So I still have confidence that this could spike up towards that high of the day mark, especially with this price action. Been pretty consistent throughout and just like a nice little uptrend. So if it starts to spike down on me, I'll stop out, lose maybe like $80, but there's not too much opportunity today. So just keeping it light, keeping it small. There's not a lot of opportunities, but if it does break out, we can trade to 430 ES. Yeah, I would sell puts. If you're selling contracts, I would sell puts because I think that we're trending in the upward direction. So the question is if it breaks this level, I should probably buy at least one more to see if I can make like $400, $500 on this. But to me, it looks a little weak right now in the 5 minute. So I might just wait off on that. If I wanted to scale out here and go flat, I could do that and get a better entry. But in terms of the 15-minute chart over here on the SPX, it looks like we could engulf this little upper shadow up to that 3976, head towards that high of the day mark, and then we would obviously break out of this. So we're in a pretty odd zone. I don't know if I would risk too much of this, but I might set my stop at 400. So if I do lose, it would only be $70. The action today is really, really brutal. I can't imagine that anybody is up much unless you caught maybe one of these spikes or this down draw. But even this big spike down didn't really pay too much on the SPX. So I'm not really liking my entry right now. This is starting to head towards that little down mark. It could hit that 3970 before a bounce, which I wouldn't really enjoy. But we'll see here. It looks like it might retest this trend. If you've watched me trade before, a lot of the times that it breaks these downtrends, it retests the downtrend. So it could hit this 3970 over here and then look for that bounce. But that's usually a pretty dangerous zone on a low volume day because this could spike down like one of these and no problem with no volume in the market. So I'm going to set my stop loss at 400 here, or 390. So just in case I do have to stop out, it'll be $80 and could easily stop me out at any point. So I might just take a $40 loss on this. Maybe I'll try to take the $40 loss or $50 loss here and try to re-enter. I'm going to try to re-enter. I'm going to take that $50 loss and be down $35 on the day. So I lost $20. Or actually I lost $50, but I'm going to look for a better entry point here. I think that this is pretty dead zone right now. And if we can get down to this 3970, then I would look for that bounce. This little rejection level makes me feel like we're going to go a little bit lower, so I could save myself about $50 a contract, and then I'll end up probably buying a couple more here. Just trying to look for a good support line. So that was a good sell there. Now that's down to 370. It feels like it's pretty weak down to this VWAP level, and it's starting to break this uptrend, which I have not really enjoyed. But now that it's breaking down, so it was a good sell, good realized loss on $50, but I want to get onto this 3970 bounce. So this is really low volume. I don't know if I would recommend playing the SPX like I'm about to do because you have to get in almost perfectly to make any money. But I am going for this level. I know it's really risky, obviously, as of right now. But we'll see. Being patient. I like this VWAP bounce, but I feel like there's a little bit more room down here based off of this little uptrend wedge that we have going on here. NYC. What you do, Scott, relax and money will come to you. Angela, you're scaring me today. I'm looking for this bounce at VWAP. Looking at that 39, probably 70-ish mark. I feel like we could get one more little headwind down here. Obviously a lower high here, but if we do start towards this line, we could break this yellow line and start squeezing up. I do not really like the fact that the Bollinger Band's starting to come down a little bit. So I'm very flat on the day, clearly. $35. I'm trying to make that one good trade. You don't really need too many trades to be profitable on a day, especially when you're playing the SPX. But would love to catch this reversal. And most of the time, these reversals that I play the SPX is I love to buy those big red candles. So if I see one more large red candle down, I'm going to try and catch the bottom of the body. So like something similar like this, I'll try and catch like a big bounce like this because this will pay over $100, $200 a contract But things are just moving really slow right now. So I hopped out of this. I don't even remember where. I think at 420, and it's starting to head back up to that level. But if it starts catching legs here, I will take it for the breakout. It's just this Bollinger Band is not looking too good for me. We could look at Tesla doing absolutely nothing. Meta, same thing. I'm actually in some Meta puts for a couple days out in my swing play account. I just see this level down to 193, and I feel like we could break below that. So this is a light position, and I'm already in it, so I don't know if that's a good opportunity for you. I do somewhat like NVIDIA to the upside because this is kind of showing us that same situation I saw on Meta a while ago on the wedge breakout. I know this thing has been just steamrolling all the way up, but if you can tell that I have a 266 level here, which would show me a lot of buyers are there. That's the break of this downtrend. This little guy. So this little flag pattern, if I can see this tap right here and it breaks, we could go back up towards that 275. So it's gearing up for a nice little end of week rally, especially if the market starts heading up towards that 400 level. And this is starting to push back up. But as you can tell, it's not paying that much. So if you caught the bottom, it was 370 up to 440. So you would have made $70 a contract there if you caught that very, very low bottom, which it's really tough to play this today. But even if it does start to break towards this high, I will scale into this. I'm hoping I can get a nice little pullback down to this 3986. It's just not moving. The SPY's only moving like 11 cents a piece, so these contracts are obviously not going to move whatsoever. It might make sense to go closer to the money. I know they're expensive, but they move a little bit better, like 550 to 640. You have to risk a lot of money for $90. But this, I'm telling you guys, this looks really good to bear bullish engulf and go towards that high of the day mark on the SPX. Same with this level. I know this wedge pattern is kind of scary, but if we can break above this wedge pattern, some people will take the rejection and look for the downside draw, but I'm looking for that break and rip towards this high of the day at 396.50. So I'm going to try and get in a good entry. It's going to be like one of my only trades today. Obviously, I've traded a few times here. I'm down $35, but I got stopped out of Tesla early this morning. And then the SPX, I've had a small win, but I have been treading very, very lightly because there's not a ton of opportunities out there. So I might look for an entry point here if I can get this at 580. I'm going to buy the 3980 contracts just because they're closer to the money. 3980 is at this yellow line. So that would put me in the money. These contracts would probably be worth about $1,000 a piece. So I can make about $400 a contract. I might try to get 2, maybe 3. We'll see what happens. Zach, my plan is to try to make money in the choppiest market I've ever seen. Yesterday was pretty choppy. Somehow squeaked out about $520. And then today, I'm looking for the same situation. I'm looking for that same $500 play, which I think could be the upside. So I'm looking for calls in the SPX. I got the 3980 expiration for today. I'm looking for this wedge break and then a squeeze to high of the day. There's no volume, and the SPX is really, really choppy today, so be careful. Be very, very careful. I'm going to draw a new little pattern here. Just for that. Just for sake of reassurance here, I don't know if I'm going to get to that pullback of 580. It might be smart for me to try and scale in at 600 because this looks like it's starting to gear up towards that line. All we need is volume, and this thing will soar. And when I say soar, it'll probably go up to like 397.50. So when I zoom out, it looks like this might be that top, which is 397.88, which is still going to be a ton of money for these contracts to go in the money, which I think is very, very possible. I think that this has an opportunity for us to make a ton of money, but if you set your stop losses small on the downside, you are set. So still looking at this wedge pattern here. Looks like VWAP could break this down at any point, but this is the max target because this is pre-market level. We're starting to bottom bounce off that. We're starting to squeeze. This looks like it's going to bullish engulf and head towards that high of the day mark. And at this yellow line, I would look to take profit if I can get in here. But I'm looking for a better entry point than 640 right now. It's not paying as much because there's not enough volume. So there's 3 pieces to an option contract. It's the price, stock price. So the SPY clearly is not moving at all. I mean, this massive move that looks like on the stock charts literally only moved $1. So no movement. And option contracts are priced from stock price times time decay. So it's getting closer and closer to expiration, and there's just no movement. So it's not doing anything but melting. And then volatility is the other piece of the calculation for an option contract. And there's obviously no volatility out there. So these contracts are just not paying very much. There's not a lot of volume. There's not a lot of people in there to make this volatility happen. So clearly, at that level, there's no moves. So I'm going to cancel this order for now because this thing is just kind of dead weight. I don't really know which way this is going to go right now. It looks like it could potentially reject. I would look to maybe scale in right around this 395.77. But you can tell here, this is just ugly as shit between how it's moving. So like this move to this move usually is a pretty decent price, but that's literally 20 cents. It's not going to do anything for us. I am going to go in here at 6, and if I get stopped out, it's going to be at 5.50. And then I will be down $85 on the day. But if this reverses, this could go towards that 1,000, and then I would be up pretty nicely because I feel like it's going to start to squeeze here pretty soon. If we can get above this, we will catch volume. Very, very light trading today, just so everybody knows. Not going to see a huge amount of contracts from me today at all. I probably won't even go above 1 or 2, to be honest, just because of how the price action is. I'm not just going to give away money. I'm up $30 on the trade. Would love to see this squeeze out so I can make like 300. Would be really nice. Looks like it's starting to head towards that way. Like I said, this bullish engulfing pattern right here above this line. I see this all the time, so would love to see it towards that high of the day mark. Why does it read 1463? What reads 1463? I don't see 1463. Down here? What is your SPX call chart showing? Why does it read 1463? Oh, this is the options chart. So this is showing how much it costs. So this is the active trader. So these contracts are worth 600, or that's where my cost basis is. It's currently at 620, and my stop is at 560. So I'm risking 600 here. Max stop loss is 40, maybe 50 if it gets blown through. And then I'm up $20 right now. So I could join the ask right now and make $20 or $10 right now since it's starting to fail. But this is my option contract. So it shows me the price of the actual option that I'm trading. And then this is the stock chart of the SPY. Here's the SPX. And then here's the 15-minute chart. Call is at 640. Yeah. So I'm up $40 right now on the trade. 35, 5%. But I only have one. I'm not going to risk a ton because the action is obviously dog shit. But there is an opportunity here because if it does break this wedge pattern that I have drawn, it does have room up towards that high. Just don't like this Bollinger Band pointing down. It might go against me. And at that point, I'd be down like $90 on the day. But like I said, I'm keeping my losses very small on such a low volume day. I could cash out right here and go flat on the day, but what's the fun in that? I want to get paid today. I want to get paid every day. And one trick that if you're scaling in, if you're a new trader, one trick that I have been doing a lot recently, a lot of my money is starting to go into real estate, and a lot of my money is going into long-term investments, and I actually am buying a ton of the triple leverage stocks, all that type of stuff. So in this day trading account, every time that I'm up, I hit that like $5,000 or $10,000 in trading, I will take money out physically from my trading account and put it in my bank account. If you start to pay yourself, there's something mentally that switches when you're trading, and I've been doing this for a long time, but if you start to pay yourself in options trading, like say you're up like $500 on the day, and you at the end of the day, you transfer 300 of that 500 into your bank account, something switches for you where you start to operate at like a business and like a paycheck, and you start to get better entries because you're not impatient. You realize that you're getting paid from this, and then something mentally just switches for you. So maybe give it a try. Maybe if you make $300 today, take out $150. Start to see if you operate a little bit differently. All right, so now this is going a little bit. We're back up $85 on the trade. Let's see if we can squeeze out of this. The Bollinger Band's going. I think that might be my aim. I could take my profit right here. Usually I would if I had more than one. I'd probably scale out because it hit this level because it could just dump on me. But I have this weird feeling that it's going to go. And what I could do here is I can move my stop loss up for very minimal risk here. You know what? I'll just put it at break even. So if I lose on this trade, I will lose absolutely nothing. Best way to trade. Minimize your losses at all times. So now I could take my $90 profit here or my $100 profit, and I'm up 15% on the trade. It's a great trade, up 60 on the day, but I think that we have that room up to this to squeeze. If I miss out on it, then I miss out on it, but I could always move this up to 620, lock in 20 bucks. What is the line in the pink? I don't know what this line is, actually. It's a great question. I don't really pay attention. Theoretical option price. I don't know what that means. I actually have no idea what that is. No idea what this is. So I could remove this if I wanted to. See you later. She's gone. No idea what she was, but I'll miss her. Now watch me lose on this trade. I'll blame it on that. I'm going to lock in probably 20 bucks here. It might stop me out here. So if I lock in this $20 on this contract, I still was profitable, but it is rejecting that line. So I was looking for more, was up 100, but that's how you mitigate your risk, right? It's a very slow chopping day. So if I get stopped out here, I might make 10 to 20 bucks and still be flat. But this run, it still looks good to me, and it's not hitting my stop loss just yet. It's currently at 650. I'm up 50 bucks on the trade, but I really, really think that we could squeeze up towards this high of the day mark. And if I get stopped out here and then it starts running, I'll be mad, but that's the beauty of options trading, right? You got to set your limits almost perfectly. So I'm up 80 bucks. Do I take it or do we think it's going to break? I think it's going to break. I don't think that this wedge pattern is that strong, especially with this Bollinger Band starting to expand. There's a little bit more room on the upside. I think that this could take us up, 200 bucks a contract maybe. I'm not going to make a ton of money today, obviously, but do you believe we can go lower if it rejects again? Yeah. If it keeps rejecting this line, I think that we'll see a pretty massive sell-off, which is exactly why I have my stop loss in profit here. So there's levels to this. There's a game. You got to play the game. Make sure that you're always in the money here. So I got my good execution here. It went up. It's up at 90 bucks. It's testing this right now. It's really struggling that line. So you can tell that there's a lot of people just sitting there, a lot of sellers, but the buyers with these lower wicks right here, it looks like they're trying to push it up, and I still see so much room up to this 396.46. 40 cents could pay an extra 100 bucks in these contracts because they would go in the money, maybe even 200, but it is struggling this line. Theta's starting to get to it, so if I do get stopped out, I'll still be up 20 bucks, and I'll be flat on the day. But I don't know. I'm playing for this breakout. I don't know if I'm going to get it, but regardless, no risk on the trade. So at least you'll be learning a little bit about risk management. Does this make sense? Having your stop loss, and then you set it once it goes up, you set your stop loss above so you at least lock in profit no matter what happens. Sound like a good strategy to you guys? I think I'm going to get stopped right here, but still profitable. Best way to trade. Also, guys, I don't know if you guys know this, but I have to share this while we wait for this boring-ass price action. I got an email today. I own I've been much more consistent with wins doing the stop-loss chasing. I got stopped. All right, that's okay. I'm down. I made 10 bucks on the trade, so now we're down $25 on the day. It rejected this level. This hates it. It hates it. It's crazy how good. Sometimes I have to pat myself on the back, how good my levels are. Because look at how this rejects it 1, 2, and then 3 times. That's pretty impressive, honestly. It's pretty impressive to have that. So that's why I play off these levels. I could have taken that $100 and been up 80 bucks on the day, but I'd rather be down 25 when I could have been potentially up 35. That R multiple that I've been telling you guys about. You always have to think about the R multiple, what your risk to reward is. So if I'm going to risk 600 bucks, I'm not going to take 100 bucks. I'm going to try and go for that 200, 300 with my max stop loss at, well, a gain of 10 bucks. So, yeah, we're looking good so far. We're looking good. Next level where I bounce. Once you're done with this trade, can you explain how to go about selling for premium? Yeah, I mean, 1 second. I think I'm about to. I still think that we're going to go. I still think that this is, if it doesn't make a lower here at this 395.68, we're playing with chump change, just so everybody knows. That's why I'm only playing with one contract. So I think its next bounce level would be around this 39575. If not, it's going to push right towards this VWAP line. And it just went right through that, tested it. See what happens here. But if I delete that line, this is where it bounced last time. So if it goes below this, it's done for. 15-minute chart starting to flip on me as well, so I don't really see too much bullish activity there. Looks like there's a lot of resistance right at that 3976 for some reason, right at this wedge pattern. But if I were to give you any analysis here, I still think that it's going to break out towards the upside and go to high of the day. But what is your next level of bounce? I'm saying if it doesn't bounce here, it's probably going to be on this VWAP, and if not that, it's going to be on this uptrend line. But there's not any action out there today, so for me to tell you where I think, I would be lying because I just don't know. I've just been trying to play like getting in good entries, getting out good exits. I feel like if this breaks down 1, 2, it's a higher low here, so a high here, higher low. Looks like this could touch this VWAP line. I might take a quick little scalp right at this 39555 VWAP line if I can get one more drop. A push down towards this 3968 would be pretty cool. But as it gets closer and closer to this wedge pattern, a big move is going to happen. As you can see, it gets tighter and tighter until it really breaks out. I still think upside. This looks weak for a little bit of the time being here. Great. This is why the stop loss, Levi, if you're utilizing that risk management strategy, you're going to crush it. You're going to start seeing a lot more green in your life because once you have that stop loss and the profit, you're killing it. What were we talking about? Oh, selling option premiums. Selling options today would have been a gold mine to do that. And when I say gold mine, you're just collecting the premium in general. But we could go over, I guess, Square. Square is ridiculous. Tesla, same thing. Tesla just went sideways. This would have been a great day for me to sell a Tesla premium, but basically all you want. I sell puts usually. I don't like to sell calls because you have to actually own the shares. I don't do that in my trading account. I just do that in a long-term investing account. But today, let's just say, I don't know, I wanted to get involved with these. Today's not a good day to you're not going to make a ton of money selling options because it's sideways, but if it goes up, it's a good day to sell puts. Like these these 185s. You could have sold these. So if I put this in the red over here, I just sent it to my contracts and I just moved that Tesla put. These earlier today were worth so it's not a good day to sell them exactly, maybe for the same weeks. Let me do that real quick. I'll give you that example. Tesla for this Friday expiration might have been a good one to sell because obviously it's closer to expiration, so you might have gotten a little bit of better opportunities, but if I send this contract for the Friday expirations, earlier today they were worth at the high 430 and at the low they were worth 320. So you could have made about $100 selling these. The only reason it's not down a lot, notice how this hasn't moved at all, right? So it's been bouncing between this 189 and 188. So $1 bouncing, but as it bounces, you're just collecting that premium because you sold it. Instead of buying it and watching it decay on you, you sell it and you collect. So as theta gets to it, you can see low of the day, or high of the day recent high of the day was at 189.50. But even though it only fell about $1 and $180 stock, it's still down $60 from that high. So you can still collect that $60 in premium. What about looking at selling contracts like 3 to 4% away from the current price? I mean, that's a pretty good idea too, because then the further out of the money, the less opportunity it has to get in the money. So, for example, I've been looking at buying Square shares, like a bunch of Square shares, because of that big report that came out and they dumped the stock from 77 down to 57. I sold a couple premiums over here around 56 on one day, but I'm looking for one more drawdown. And I've been looking to buy these shares, but before I buy any shares, because I usually buy shares in like lots of 100 shares, before I buy anything, I'll sell puts first. And the reason for that is because if I'm going to buy 100 shares at 64 here and risk $6,400, I might as well sell puts at like 62 on the daily charts. If I go to if I go to Square and I want to buy these shares of whatever, let's say it's 62 here. I could sell one of these, and obviously it's not going to be a ton of money because it's just 100 shares. But if I buy like 200, 300 shares, I could sell 3 of these puts and collect, what is that? Let's say I buy 200 shares for $12,000. I could sell 2 of these and collect $280 and just put it in my bank. Like literally just put it in my bank. I could just pay myself before I buy the shares. Because let's just say it goes down to 60 and expires in the money. I still keep this, but even though it's at $60, I purchased the 200 shares at 62, but I keep this $280 in premium. So that's the best part. You keep the $280 no matter what, even if it's at 60, then I'm only down, $2 on the 200 shares, so $400 in total. But once it gets back up to 66, I'm not down on anything, but I kept that $280. So I pay myself before I purchase the shares. It's just like it's a no-brainer to me. I think that answers your question. But the further out of the money, they decay a lot faster, so you can collect all of the premium. That's the best way to do it. The hack of the world is to literally have 1,000 shares of SPY and collect 5 to 10K a week. Isn't that crazy? That's crazy. I do watch implied volatility. Implied volatility percentage is huge because if a company has earnings, like Lulu does today, Lulu IV percentage is going to be smoking hot. Look at this. Implied volatility percentage, 100%. Terrible. But anything over 80% is usually overpaid or overpriced. So when IV percentage is high, you sell puts. You sell calls, you sell puts, you sell premiums because as they decay, which they do easily because theta decay over here, overnight, every night, you're collecting $200. Every night that you hold this, you're collecting $200. Easy money. Literally easy money, but it is expensive as shit to buy these because this would be 30K because you need 100 shares to do the cash secured put or have the shares already. But when it's earnings season for like Square or Chewy or SE, they get inflated like crazy. Same thing with Coinbase, and you can sell these for like $600 and easily collect all that premium. Today's a good day to do it, but you're not going to make a lot of money selling it because it's so flat. So you're going to make money, but it's going to be slow money. The best days to make money on selling puts is when it's spiking up. So it's when it's oversold, you can sell puts if you don't want to actually buy all the shares and just collect the premium. It's just an easier way to make money. So this is a put right here. If I were to be selling this, this would be going against me, I think. Let me see. Yeah. So if I sold a put, you want it to go up. So the fact that it's trending downward, that's when I'd be losing the money. Isn't earnings day like gambling? Yes. Unless you have very good analysis, like I do. Not to toot my own horn, but if you know how to read fundamentals and you know how to read like 10K reports, you never really fully know where the stock is going to go. But you can put a lot of how I trade is risk management and risk to reward ratio. So if I'm looking at something, I think I don't think I've told this story yet. I forgot. There's some times where you can tell where the stock is going. And a lot of those times were back in 2020 and 2021. So I was looking, I also I own a marketing agency. So I know a lot of stuff about, web traffic views, website health, all that type of stuff, and how much traffic is coming to your website. If a lot of people are coming to your website, you're ultimately going to get a lot of conversions, unless you're spending a ton of money on marketing, which you can look at through something called SEMrush. So SEMrush is an SEO software that you can look into and see how many people are coming to your site, how much money they're spending on advertising and whatever. So in things like that, like an e-commerce company or like a Zoom or anything that a lot of people make their money from coming to their website, you can look up a lot of these tools, their web traffic views, their like SEMrush, whatever. You can message me and ask me how much money they're spending on advertising if you want, and kind of just like dive into their fundamentals as well. It's more of the boring work, but for earnings, I did a little bit of research a couple times. Facebook, I banked out. Zoom was actually one of my best plays I've ever had. I ended up making 73 grand overnight one time, and it was on my birthday. It was the best day of my life. So I made 73 grand just putting, I think it was $4,000 into a put option. Yeah, I think it was like 4K into a put option in Zoom, and I ended up making 73K overnight. And the reason I could see that it was going to just get absolutely destroyed is the stock was overvalued. Let's look at Zoom real quick. Stock was overvalued like crazy. It was at like 588 or something like that. And and I forget what day it was. I'm going to go to the daily chart. I can't remember exactly what day it was. It was on my birthday, but I think it was a while ago. Or maybe that was Facebook that died on my birthday. I can't remember. It was this day. It was this day right here. From 97 all the way down. No, that's not it either. Damn, I got to find this. Time frame. Regardless, this happened. I don't remember what day it was. Sorry, but you could tell it was a massive drop in Zoom. I can't remember exactly how much. I think it was this one, 346 to 289, maybe. There was one day where the earnings just completely missed and the stock fell like 45%. But the way that I could easily identify that was by looking at their web traffic views. Zoom obviously is all through the website. So if people aren't using it, they're not making money. And their web traffic views went from like, I think it was like down almost 70% because there were so many new competitors coming in the space like Google Meets or what else is there other than Zoom? Microsoft Teams. There was so many that people were popping up. I feel like a lot of people stopped using Zoom. People started going back to work. COVID was starting to get over with a little bit. And I saw the implied volatility percentage was a lot lower. So earnings are a gamble, but if you look at the IV percentage, you look at the options chain, the contracts that I were buying were worth about like, I think they were worth about like 100 a piece or 150 a piece, or maybe even less. And then the contracts that were in the money at the implied volatility percentage that they were expecting it to get to were like 1,500. So, I mean, you do the math there, that's 1,000% return. So I clearly was like, okay, if this is 1,000% return, I'm going to end up throwing a little bit of money on this. And if I lose because it is a gamble, but the risk to reward ratio is so massive of a payout, I'm going to take that gamble. And it's a gamble, but if you do your research, you can have a lot more R multiple on your side. So at that point, I put a good amount of money in, and those contracts ended up running 2,000% overnight. It was one of the biggest trades I've ever had. I don't think I'll ever have a trade that big again unless I put a ton of size behind it. But in terms of percent return, it was one of the craziest things. And if you're playing earnings, you just got to do your research and look around, because if you've ever heard the saying, take the test with the test, like sometimes there's answers in the test for other questions. You can ultimately make a ton of money if you look at things that the market is giving you. Usually there's a lot of signs that there's things that you can kind of almost decide premium values if things are mispriced or not, but maybe that just comes with experience. But to answer your question, yes, it is a gamble for earnings. So unless you know what you're doing, I would not be risking a ton of money in earnings plays. There it is. Here's the bounce, guys. Here's the SPY bounce. Rant is over. My rant is over, but it looks like this could test this. I don't like that at all. Forex trader. We're not a Forex trader. SPX. I'm looking at the SPX here. I'll probably go back to these 3980s. They were just really expensive too. These got cheap. It looks weak. It looks really weak. Usually I don't like to buy on these massive red candles like this because it looks like it has some room down. But bouncing at this level would be pretty cool. I just don't know if it's going to do that. Yeah, there it goes. It's pretty ugly. It's a pretty ugly drop. I might wait for one more candle here. I don't know. It could bounce. It could really bounce. Maybe I'll dabble. Maybe I'll dabble in one here. I'll do like 320 fill. If it fills me, that's golden. Maybe we'll get a nice little pop back up this VWAP, and we could end up making like 70, 80 bucks a contract. But I am in the call side. You'll notice I'm in the call side when everybody is selling because you see a lot of bounce action that I just missed. So these contracts are now at 370, and I try to get them at 320. So that'd been 50 a piece. Probably going to bounce back up towards that VWAP line before another sell-off. And now that I missed that bounce, I'm going to cancel this order. But those are the plays that I like to play a lot. And on these massive red candles, I like to try and get in at the bottom there because there are going to be buyers that come in. As a market maker on the New York Stock Exchange, the goal is to make sure that it's a fair and orderly market. So when you see massive fear, you buy up a ton of stocks to continue to level off that price. Same thing on the upside too. Massive squeeze, it either halts at 15% or 10%, or you put a bunch of sell orders on the other side, and it looks like this is going to spike up. So That 320 would have been a nice little $70 a contract. I'm sure it's going to be more here in a second too. Damn. This level's nice. This little wedge pattern is nice. This isn't the very bottom though. I should probably draw it a little bit better. Right around this level. I think it's down a little bit. Yeah, so just tested it. Just tested it, bounced a little bit, starting to bounce a little bit again. I don't know if I really want to take the calls here. Looks like it could retest, but as you can see, it's starting to get a little bit of action. Oh my gosh, I love the call side on this. I don't know why. I'm going to go into just a little bit more analysis so you can tell how I would confirm if this is going to break out towards this high of the day or not. This 15-minute kind of looks like it just made a lower high. It rejected this trend line a couple times. I think if it gets back to that level, it would break out. As of right now, the 15-minute looks a little shaky. Then I start to zoom out. 30-minute, also a little shaky. You know, a big red candle here. A nice little bounce, but it has a lot of selling momentum here. 1 hour chart, got to keep zooming out. When in doubt, zoom out. So this is a nice little bullish green candle here. It's starting to break down a little bit, but if we can get some buyers back up towards this 39575, I think that this could turn bullish again on the 1 hour. It's 12:20. It's only been 3 hours today. Feels like it's been an eternity. And then this 4 hour, it's a doji candle. You don't really know which way it's going to go. And then we got the daily chart that is also a doji candle. So not any true movement right now. Look at that 320 bounce at that level. Would have just paid out $130 a contract. Got to play the bounce levels, guys. I missed out on that one. I almost got to fill at 320. I'm not going in heavy at all today, but would have been a really good opportunity. I don't see much opportunity, that's for sure. Let's get this drawn again real quick. Extend to the left, extend to the right. We'll get this bottom one real quick. All right, so here's the trend. I'm a very good gambler. Dude, Angela, you crack me up. I wouldn't really call stock trading gambling. I would call it calculated risk taking. 395.74. I'm looking at the larger time frames right now, and I just don't see any action. I just don't think that there's... CJ, I am all in with that. I'm all in. I would say 95% of the time, I think I'm going to win. Especially because at my entry points, if I have my stop losses moved up, I don't ever lose. You cannot have stop losses on options overnight, though. It is hella risky to be doing that. So when you're swinging contracts, never swing the same week. If you do, you're a gambler. Because if I go to the option contracts over here, let's just look at Tesla for example. For example, Tesla right here. Ooh, let's go near the money. Tesla's here. Our theta decay is $69 overnight on a $300 contract. That percentage is crazy. Next week's expiration on next Friday is about $40 on a $500 contract. So less of a percentage. April 17th, 2 weeks out, is $28 on a $700 contract. So theta, if you swing it, theta crushes you overnight, but if you buy time, it's less theta. They're more expensive, but you buy the time, and it's less risky to be buying further out, closer to the monies, obviously. But in terms of option contracts, it's all or nothing. In terms of I never swing weekly options. How do you hold a contract for many months, Scott? You go to the options chain and you go to whatever expiration you want. So say you think Tesla is going to go up to 225 by July. You think it's going to make you money. These 225s, they are 1,200 a piece, which is very expensive. I would never swing those, but you could buy these for July 21st expiration, hold it for 2 months, and if it goes in the money, they'll be worth about 2,000 or so. Risk to reward ratio is not there for me, but you just buy further out expirations and you hold that bad boy. I do not swing weekly options because it is the worst thing you could do. It's basically like wanting a very cold old fashioned. And you want a big cube of ice in there, make it nice and sweet, and then as soon as you get it, you're about to drink it, you put it in the microwave for a minute. It's just gonna make it feel like the ice is gonna melt. It's gonna be warm as shit. It's gonna be terrible. Same thing with your option contract. If you buy it, sounds nice. The return could be great if it gaps up 20% overnight, but with that theta decay, and if it goes against you, you're down like 60% overnight. Just makes absolutely no sense to me. Tesla's very expensive. Yep. But if you trade like Apple, it could be like $200. How far out should my expiration be to avoid too much theta if wanted to hold for 1 to 2 days? If you're holding for 1 to 2 days, I feel like next week expirations are pretty good, especially if you're buying on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. But if you're looking for like a really good opportunity like NVIDIA potentially, so I was thinking about swinging NVIDIA on my swing trading account, just based off the daily chart. Looks pretty good to me. We got a little bit of a bounce here. It looks like a wedge pattern. It did break down, but we're starting to see a bounce. If it does break out of this, it could be a good opportunity for that 275. Not the best opportunity right now, like confirming that it's going to break out. But if I wanted to swing those $270 calls in NVIDIA, I would probably look like April 14th, 17 days away. Excuse me. I got to do, so it's either 270 calls right here, they'd be 675. That's the worst part, is the risk to reward ratio there isn't the best. So the $600 in the monies are 1,000. I feel like it could end up going to 275. So realistically, it would be what these are worth. So it could be around $1,600 for a $600 risk. I don't know. That kind of is good, but I don't know. I'm still very bearish on the market, so I don't think that I would take that. But you also have to read the premiums. So wherever you're going to buy, make sure that in the money is going to pay you out good enough by that R multiple. So if you're risking $100, make sure you're going to make about $300 to $400 on the other side. Because if you're going to risk $600 to only make $100, that's not really worth it. Does it make any sense to look at the yearly charts to enter a trade? Yeah, if you're a swing trader, for sure. You could look at the 3-year weekly chart, and you could look at NVIDIA, and this doesn't really look like I would want to swing calls to me for like 6 months out. Because, this thing is just riding the top of this Bollinger Band like crazy. I know AI is booming and everything, but I don't know. Its highs at 346. It could continue to go. I know AI is a beast. Everybody wants a piece of NVIDIA. Everybody wants semiconductors. I think that this is a long-term home run, especially if you caught it down here in the low hundreds. But I wouldn't be swinging weekly calls here. Something I would maybe look at for coin, because I think that crypto is going to go on a crazy bull cycle here at some point. This thing is completely oversold from 368. This is a major overvaluation, but I think that maybe this could get above 100 or maybe 150 again here soon. And on a bull run for Bitcoin and Ethereum, this is going to spike like crazy in my opinion. So maybe I would look at this is the weekly chart and the yearly chart. So I would look on the daily chart as well. See, it's kind of oversold. Maybe I would start to buy in a longer term option contract around this $50 mark. And about 6 months down the road, hopefully this thing is cooking. But yeah, you can look at the yearly chart. And I am making no money today, guys. $25 in the red, first red day in a long time, actually, right? I can't remember the last time I was red. And it's even small red, so I can't really count that. Squeaked out a nice little 500 yesterday on a really slow day. I'm trying to do the same thing today, but I got to find the perfect entry point. This looks like it's headed its way down. Let's see. Yeah. Man, that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good for the 15-minute chart to bounce. Maybe not. Maybe it's catching some sellers. 15-minute chart does look like shit. I think that my next bounce level would be at this 395 at this Bollinger Band. So this will be the first trade I take in here. I think that is the Bollinger Band worthy. So if it can break down and I can see this Bollinger Band tap, I would take a call for a bounce. This is kind of setting itself up to go a little bit lower, though. I don't like that. This is obviously its low of the day mark. I'll put this in a different color. We'll do green because it's low of the day. Signify that maybe I should start looking at calls, but we are catching sellers. We just broke down that uptrend. So my momentum is shifting towards the downside. And we did just break this uptrend. So what I would like to do here is see a nice little red candle, a green candle to retest this again, and then I would probably take puts on this retest to see if we can break down towards this low of the day mark. Looks like a lot of sellers are starting to come in here. The time in sales is really negative. Volume is still dog shit. It's 26 million when the average is 96 million. So we are 70 million trades away from being the average volume. So there's nothing happening in the market today. But we're still trying to squeak out a little bit of money if we can. This uptrend wedge or downtrend wedge is holding up so nicely from pre-market. Tapped the high of the day, retested, tried to break out, didn't get it. Got stopped out, $20 in profit. And that's it. Okay, I wanted to tell you this earlier. I'm not getting in anything yet, but it is breaking down. I own a marketing agency as well. I think I started off with this. Look at this email I got today. Things are getting so weird. This girl sent me a picture of herself. And wrote down today's to-do list. Walk my dog, buy eggs and some turkey meat. And the third thing was email Scott, which is me, at Next Era Marketing. And she's just smiling. And the email says, hey, I checked out your website last night and wrote myself a reminder to reach out today. I saw that you produce video content on Next Era, blah, 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 blah. But is that not the weirdest way to message somebody? Here's a picture of me, and I wrote down that I needed to email you today. I think that might be my wife. I'm going to email her back. Super weird. I'm going to email her back, though. I'm going to get her on the stream. I'm going to get her on the live stream with us. All right, the SPY is bouncing now. I don't like that. I don't like the fact that she's bouncing. It's nice little hammer candle action. Did bounce up this Bollinger Band a little bit. Not sure that I like that action, though. You should email her back with a picture of yourself, too. I should, with like these cookies or something. Literally just like I got Tate's cookies. To-do list. Eat these cookies. Maybe I should ask her out. I have a weird feeling it's like one of those AI robot things. Send a picture with your message on a paper. Oh, yeah. Got an emergency outside right now. Can we just get some action here, please? I've been waiting for 2 days to get something going. These contracts shred so fast. Look at this. From 680 all the way down to 270. But if you look at the put side, let's do like 39, I don't know, 50. Nothing. It's just trash. From 215 to 320, I would have made $100 on this drop. That is just so ass. And clearly, it looks like a big drop, but it's going from 396 to 395.40. It's terrible. It's terrible, terrible. Hey, Scott. I noticed that I had to walk my dog, eat eggs today, and message you. What else do I got in here? Oh, you guys might like this. Oh, this actually might take off here. This actually might take off. 260. Let's look at the 3980 calls one more time. Maybe 70 calls, actually. Could get some action here if there's any sort of volume. Look at this volume spike down here. We got a nice bounce. It looks like we could start heading towards that upside now. I'll take one small trade. These are 780. That is way too expensive. Look at these 3980s at 357. See if I can get them at 330. If it starts to break down on me, then that's okay. But I'm going to try and get two contracts here. One at 340, one at 330. I might have missed the entry point there. Starting to get some buying legs over here. I can see it on the time and sales. Starting to get some action. Volume came in here. Volume came into these contracts, obviously. Same here. Could see that spike above VWAP. I'm going to cancel these and try and get in a good opportunity here. Okay. This VWAP line is everything here. I don't like that these Bollinger Bands are pointing at each other. That usually means a big move is about to happen. But we got a nice little bounce off this 15-minute chart. Still have not broken this downtrend yet. I have a weird feeling that we're going to try. But there is a lot of room down to low of the day. So just being careful, trying to, maybe I should probably get rid of some of these lines so it's not as confusing. Green is low of the day, yellow is high of the day. This is the wedge pattern that it's currently in. Whichever way it breaks, it will go towards that yellow or go towards this green. I'm leaning more towards the call side. Actually, I think I'm lying. I think I'm leaning more towards the put side based off of this 15-minute chart here. This hammer candle does signify a reversal, but I feel like this put could end up paying well. The only reason I wouldn't buy a put at this VWAP line is this hammer candle. This is a very, very bullish candle. So this could start pushing up. But as you can see, these are the calls that I was trying to play. I tried to get in at 330 or 340 and I didn't make it. And even though it's pushing up like this to this VWAP level, this looks like a pretty good candle. It's only up $20. It's just terrible action today. I might have to push this. If you're going to trade anything in the SPX or SPY, go closest to the money as you possibly can. Angela, the market is against you, but you did it great today, Scott. You are my biggest hype woman. Scaring me a little bit. You're my biggest hype woman. And I appreciate you. 3950. I think I'm going to look at the downside here. On this little pop. 3960. Let's see where the SPX is. She sent you that email. Angela, is this you? Is this you? Is this you? I know this is you. CJ, that's the funniest thing I've heard all day. I'm new here from Kush. What's up, Charting Queen? Is this you? No, I'm kidding. Welcome in. Welcome in. Been getting some weird emails lately, but we're going to get to the bottom of this. And I still like this downside a lot. I just don't like that this Bollinger Bands are literally pointing at each other. But I do see a lot of opportunity for this downside test. I should probably look at the daily chart really quickly. I'm going to clear all these drawings so I can get a clear view of what's going on over here. Lots of chop. Been lots of chop since like October. We've had a couple really big days, but it does not want to break this 400 to like 390 range. It's just been stuck there for so long. It's really frustrating. For long-term investors, I'm assuming, or some swing traders, I'm assuming, are probably really feeling the wrath of the market. But when I draw this, this is on the daily chart. Nice little wedge pattern here on the daily. This is just stuck. This doesn't really know which way it wants to go. And in terms of support levels, looks like there's one here at 394, which it bounced off earlier. And then below that, we could see a 393. Yeah, there's not a lot of opportunity for movement today. It's pretty sad. But I would love to take one trade. I'm flat on the day. Would love to take something here. I only send you spam. Guys, are you also afraid? One day, 5 minute. This kind of looks like it's going to spike down. As you can see, these Bollinger Bands, I love the Bollinger Bands more than anything. I feel like I've been talking about them so much, especially on my social media channels too. But these lines right here, if they start to expand and go sideways, a big move is going to happen. I don't know which way, which scares the hell out of me. But I drew this wedge pattern from earlier to here, and we rejected it many, many times. 1, 2, 3. Now, it could start be cooking up for that way. But here's the bottom. So here's the wedge that we are trading in right now currently. Low of the day. Wall Street does use indicators. I learned from the best trader in the world, which is exactly why I have been able to do this for the last 3 years of my entire life. All on my own. Completely left Wall Street to do this on my own, and I learned from literally the best I've ever seen in my life. I used to watch him on Quadwitch days make 350 grand in like maybe a minute and a half, and he was only trading equities. So think of that. It's fucking absurd. But he uses Bollinger Bands are his number one, VWAP, and parabolic SARs. Obviously, the volume is key in any type of trading you do. But my indicators are exactly like his, except I don't have the parabolic SARs because I just don't like the way they look. But yeah, everybody uses their own. They don't really teach you one way to do it. It's just you kind of go down there as an entrepreneur trader. You're good or you're not, and they kind of give you a trial run. If you lose money, they get pissed, but they give you the free reign to do whatever you want. RSI, MACD overrated. The amount of people in times that I have seen so many people ruin their trading career because they try to trade off of these indicators, it doesn't work. Like these indicators that I'm looking at right now mean absolutely nothing to me because it's all about the price action. It's literally about the volume. So the fact that this is dropping off right here with no volume in it, that doesn't show me anything. So if I were to be like, oh, the MACD's crossing over, it must be calls, or it must be going up, or it must be going down, everybody in the world would be a millionaire. And the fact that people don't understand is the indicators are lagging. So every single indicator is based off of historic price performance. So all these averages, the moving averages, the simple moving averages, all that shit is literally past price action. So you're getting something not in real time. And the only thing that's going to provide real-time data for you are the price action candlesticks and the volume. So you just kind of have to, there's behaviors of stocks, it's all supply and demand. So if you understand that the behavior of where buyers are coming in and where sellers are coming in, you'll be much more profitable and much more, efficient on your executions than you would be just waiting for that MACD to cross over or the RSI to be overbought or oversold, because none of that really matters, to be honest. It's all about price action and volume. The less indicators, the better. Honestly, here pretty soon, I'll probably get rid of this VWAP level, but I will always have the Bollinger Bands. That's about it. And then I can draw all the rest of my wedge patterns, my lines, everything that's happening. And I think we're just watching paint dry again, guys. I'm sorry. Sorry this wasn't a good day. Sorry this wasn't a good morning. Still think that there's an opportunity for a move. I'm flat on the day, down $20, $25. Angela, I love you. You know what? I switched my mind. You're not scaring me anymore. I think I love you. You are the charting king. This is definitely you in my email, but I still love you. I can't believe she sent me that. Also, this is my dog. Look at how ugly this thing is. That's my family dog. Look how big. That's a Chihuahua, and it's 25 pounds. 25 pounds. Chihuahua, 25 pounds. It can't even sleep without like waking itself up because it snorts so loud because it can't breathe. I don't know what's good with it, but my mom feeds it like it's I don't know. Chihuahuas are supposed to be like 8 pounds, but Lucy lives a good life. She gets a lot of love, a lot of baconators from Wendy's too. But all right, I'm not seeing any action, guys. I feel like this is pretty brutal price action. I feel like we're not going to get any good opportunity unless we quickly scalp, which is pretty tough. I could take a nice little trade here and show you that what I'm getting involved in. The Bollinger Bands are the best thing you'll ever do. Ever. Angela, I love you so much. Relax. You're right. I gotta relax. Um, Spy, I'm waiting for 392. I don't think that's gonna happen today, but I've been wrong before. I do see a little bit of an opportunity here for some downside, right? Lower high everywhere. Lower high on the pre-market level. Here we got a high of the day. We rejected that same downward wedge. So if we start to break down below this 395, we could easily test this low of the day mark. But I saw 390, 420 was one of my support lines that I don't think it, and then 393. So if it does break down, I would probably start to buy some puts for that break below low of the day and probably end up taking profit around this 394.19. I don't think 392 is going to happen today. I just don't think there's enough volume. We're at 27 million in volume, and we are at halfway through the day. And average volume in the S&P is about 97 million a day. So the fact that we could be on pace for under 60 million is a ridiculous amount of volume. Like there's just nothing out there. There's no price action. There's no movement. The only way you're going to make money in today's market, if you're trading options, is if you're in, and then 3 minutes later, you're out. Because scalping market is really profitable, but you have to put some size behind it, and you have to have perfect entry points. Because if you bought here at this little rip thinking it was going to continue, like most days it would have, you would have got stuck at a $600 entry point, and you could have sold it at $400. So it'd be $200 a contract. So I try to preach the risk to reward ratio so much, and I'm going to hammer it into everybody's head that ever watches me trade in here. I try to only take like 1 to maybe 5 trades a day, and a lot of those are just quick scalps to start up my account on the day, go up 100 or 200 bucks, and then I'll start to risk some with size with $200 stop losses. So there's a game to it. You got to play the game, and the market's job is to rob you, so you got to rob it before it robs you. And scalping is great. I love getting in and getting out on good entry points like that. But when you have an opportunity for something to fall like Tesla has all day, I just saw this. This is crazy. Wow. Damn, I missed out on that one. That could have been a good one. Got some charting over here on Tesla. It just completely broke out of that flag. So I was looking for this level. So sometimes when I draw these charts, they fail, right? You're not going to be right on everything, but I did see a little bit of a flag situation that was going on in this chart. Here is where I saw it, and then I drew the bottom right here. So I was looking for this breakout, a retest, and then a breakout even further, but sellers got it, broke below it. It's now below that low. The flag is completely broken. So I'm not going to look for the upside in Tesla for a while now, because I feel like it probably has some room down to this 183, 177. And I would love, if I still have a mark here at 154, this is where I would start scaling into a ton of shares and maybe some long-term options. But I still think Tesla has a lot of downside. It really ran from 100 to 200 in under a week. So Amazon on the call side, I think Amazon, I don't know if you guys know fundamentals or not, but I think this has one of the best PE ratios, which is price to earnings ratios in the entire market. Same thing with Google right now as well. It's a little overvalued at this point. But down here at this 92 level, 91 level, Google is beautiful for long-term investing. I think these are two of the best stocks. I have an Amazon target of around 86 is where I want to get back into. I almost hit it. It was at 88. Probably shouldn't have been scared to do that, but I think that they have one more little big drop down here, and I'll probably start scaling them sub 90 one more time. But everybody's calling for this massive market crash. I think the market does pull back heavy, but I don't think it gets below 340, 350. Maybe even 360. So we are facing a lot of troubles in the economy, but I already think that the stock market has crashed. And if you don't think so, let me just go over a few charts. 384 down to 88. SE 372 down to 45. I'll just do one more. Melly 2000 down to 604. Nvidia 346 down to 120. Should I do one more? I'll do one more. We'll do Amazon. 188 down to 81. Some of these stocks crashed 60%. And I think now they're just trying to find some fair valuation. I think that the stock market has fallen a ton as well, and there's a little bit more leg room down, maybe down to this 360, but I don't see a ton of opportunity on the downside for a big crash. I do think that this is one of the best opportunities you'll ever see for the next 20 to 30 years. Maybe not that many, maybe like 10 to 15 years in terms of buying option or buying shares. So stack your cash. Stack as much cash as you possibly can. Because when we get that next big leg down, it's all investment time, baby. And if you're building a business right now, you have some headwinds right now with the economy, but keep in mind in about 3 to 5 years, 2 to 3, 4, 5 years, we enter into that new bull cycle. People are acquisition heavy. So if you can scale anything right now and make anything profitable, people will start to invest, and they will invest a lot of money because they're going to try to catch that next booming bull cycle, and they will buy. So that is my mindset. I don't see too much opportunity, guys. I really don't. I don't see anything anywhere. I'm looking at NVIDIA potentially. Not seeing anything good there. SPY's at this bottom of this Bollinger Band. Keeps rejecting. I don't know. I don't think I have it in me. I think that I would take maybe the call side for this, but this Bollinger Band's starting to curl down. It looks like it could be one of those days where it retests this low. And that's about it. There's literally not anything happening. I think I've been on this for what, 20 minutes, 30 minutes? Just not going anywhere. Got a nice drop down from here, 396 down to 395.15, but that was $1. Contracts maybe moved $100 a piece. Terrible. I'm the king of options. King of charts, king of options. Angela, you're flirting with me, aren't you? Yeah, you are. All right. So I think I might take a call at this level, potentially. We keep getting these lower highs. Here's one, here's one, here's one. Could start falling down towards that level, 395.11. The worst part is even if it drops down towards this low, it's literally 23 cents. Contract might move $20. And if it comes down to that low of the day, maybe like $100. Nothing. Time is going very slow. It's at 12:52. 12:52 today. I don't know if there's anything going on. People are loving this. I put this on my Instagram story, and people are loving it. The email of the to-do list. That's honestly, that made my day too. No opportunities. This could break down though. What do you guys think? You guys thinking? Let's take a vote real quick. 394.50. You think low of the day, or you think we're gonna hit this high of the day? It's gonna hit one or the other. I just don't know which one. I'm gonna start to aim towards the low of the day at this point with these Bollinger Bands expanding. But if it bounces on this level one more time, I feel like we could potentially get that upward swing. I'm gonna make this yellow for high, and this bottom one green for low. Any ideas? Any ideas? Did you just hop on live? I am on live. Down 25 on the day, and I want a nap. Yeah, I'm down $25. Wifey material. Sorry, I'm just on YouTube now. I didn't realize there was messages over here. I'm gonna call her. This keeps bouncing at this level too, so it's a higher low on this side, lower high on the top side. It's getting interesting out here. I don't know. This 15-minute chart does look really bearish to me now. With this, we tried to break off this hammer candle, and now we're headed down towards this. I think that we could potentially see this low. The SPX over here. Let's see what the low is, so then we could take that low. Looks like it could be 3960. So these are the exact puts that I'm looking at right now. They're 500 a pop right now. You can start to see that this Bollinger Band's curling down. We could start to see that fade. We really could. So let's confirm with that. I'm going to look at Apple. Apple's also starting to curl that fade. Amazon, another big player in the market, also starting to curl down. Google, not really doing much. Microsoft, the reason I'm looking at all these is because these are the most heavily weighted stocks in the S&P 500, so that determines the market. Tesla getting sold off. So, yeah, it looks like that's starting to curl down a little bit. We're breaking that uptrend one more time. Could see a nice little pullback down to this low of the day mark. That low of the day mark might not pay that much, though. It might pay like $150 a contract, maybe $200 a piece if you can get a good entry point here. I would look for maybe a piece at 460 if I could get a nice little rip. But these Bollinger Bands are starting to expand, so I wouldn't count out a bounce and rip and run either. So I'm all over the place today. I don't know what the hell's going on. I don't think anybody does. Towards low of the day, market is, what's the name of the Bollinger Band indicator on Thinkorswim? It is, wait for it, Bollinger Band. So if you go to your edit studies, which is, where the hell is it? Here? There she is. Edit studies, Bollinger Bands. Over here on your strategies, you can type in Bollinger Bands, add selected, apply, and hit OK. I just use the default because you don't need anything fancy. Okay. I should probably eat something. 12:56. Starving. All right, guys. We're breaking down. It looks like we might hug this Bollinger Band line all the way down. It looks like we're starting to lose that momentum to the upside. Time and sales is weak as hell. You don't see anything over like a $300 execution, which is pretty low. Oh, there's a $1,000 sell. That's not a good sign. But there's just no opportunities in the option market. Look, even these 3960s, 3960 is less than 70 cents away on the SPY, and the contracts are only moving 30, 40, 50 cents at a time. It's just not worth the time. I think I'm probably going to hop off here. I'll look for a good entry point later on in the day. I'm down 20 bucks on the day. Haven't really had a good opportunity yet. I think the high that I was up today was maybe 100 bucks, and I didn't sell. But I will look for a good opportunity here at some point. I don't know if we're going to get any volatility today. Yesterday was a good day for me, so just waiting to. My goal this week is probably, I want to say 2,500 or $5,000, maybe 2,500 or 3,000. It's a very slow week, so I don't expect to make a ton. But if I do see an opportunity, I will put some size behind it. But not too much. Not too much going on. Could be a $10,000 week if we can start going towards that 390 level, which is what I'm looking for. It's painfully slow this week. It's painful. Like, it's literally so painful. The only thing that's not painful is the wise words of Angela down here telling me, you are lost, but you did it great. I don't know if I'm lost right now. Maybe I am lost. Maybe you know something that I don't. Because I do feel a little confused. But there is no way, I don't see any opportunities here. So that's it from me, guys. I'm sorry. I wanted to do a little bit more executions here. I almost had that breakout trade that I was looking for, but the sellers got me, pushed me down. I only cashed out 20 bucks, and we are still down on the day, $25. I got stopped out of Tesla, 105. SPX, 80 bucks. Obviously, very small numbers here, but I'm not going heavy on a day like today. The reason that I know that I'm not going to, this is a good rule of thumb for anybody that is trading in the market. If you look at the SPX and you can see 0.5, 0.25, 6, 0.75, if you can see the intervals of 0.25s in between the moves, it's a day to go walk your dog, pick up eggs and a turkey sandwich, and then email Scott at NextEra Marketing, because there's going to be no action that's happening in the market. And that's all. That's all I got. Hopefully you got some education out of that, though. I feel like I taught a lot between the selling options and everything. So execution. Tomorrow the king will be back. Right with my queen, Angela. the king and the queen will take on the live stream again. Tomorrow, Wednesdays are usually the best day in trading. That's my favorite day. It's always my most profitable day. Mondays are so slow. Tuesdays are usually way better than this, but not the best. And then Wednesday and Thursday are the best times to trade in the week because option premiums are cheap. There's a lot of volatility. There's a lot of news that comes out. And then Fridays, usually the mornings are pretty good. But Wednesday and Thursday are the biggest days. Those are my two favorite days to stream. And I'll be here every Wednesday and Thursday 100%. Sometimes I really won't trade on Mondays, so unless I see some action. And then Tuesday, I don't know. There's some days that I won't be able to make it on Tuesdays too. But Friday mornings for sure. Wednesday and Thursday I will always be here. So Mondays are really bad. I don't really like to trade on Mondays. And Tuesdays, if we get action like this, I probably won't be here either. But I'm here to educate. If you have any questions, always hit me up. And my course is live. If anybody ever wants to check it out, my course is live. It's literally a lot of value. It is high ticket, so it's pretty tough, but I have to plug it in because it's one of the best courses I think has ever been created. To be honest, I know I might be biased, but I spent months and months on it and a lot of money on it. So how do you pick your swing stocks, say for long and short-term swings? That's a long conversation. Abalasha. Can you please explain how do you do your long swings? I look at the daily chart. So if there's a good setup on the, hopefully you know how to learn how to play candlesticks, but my long swings, I look for on the longer time frame. So on a yearly chart analysis, oh my gosh, get all this drawing stuff out of here. So this is a weekly chart. This is what happens. Each candlestick is a week. So when it's set up like it looks like it's oversold or overbought, I look for, an opportunity to buy when it's oversold or overbought, whatever direction I want to play, whether it's the downside or upside, put side, call side. Daily chart I'll also confirm as well. I would never buy anything in the middle here, so I wouldn't swing anything. But if it was down here below this level, I might start to look for some calls. This is a good example on the SPY. When it's oversold like this, and then you see some chop fest, looks like it's pretty much done on the downside, so you'll look for a reversal at some point. So I use the time frames that are much further out to determine my swing trades. Daily chart usually, especially for individual stocks. But the market, I don't usually like to swing because there's so many factors that could mess it up. But that's about it. It's pretty quick information, but a reverse head and shoulders is forming. A reverse head and shoulders on what? Right now? On the SPY? I don't really see anything on this. I see this wedge still. And then this just broke down. This just went from 400 to 530. Man, I could have caught that. That would have been cool. I think we got some room down on this bad boy. I'm going to try and get filled here at 500. This will be my last trade. I'll end it on a bang or a stop out and go down $75 on the day. 450 is my stop. Just one contract, but I feel like this is starting to catch that sell. It's a lot of volume here. A lot of volume in terms of compared to what's happening the rest of the day. If this just chops me, then I'll be pissed, but I feel like there's a good opportunity to make a little bit of money here. Just hit this low. If we can break below this 395.13, which we are right now. All right. 530. Lock me out. Get me out. Get me out. We're green. We are green on the day, baby. Let's do it. That's all I wanted. We're up $15. No more red. Up $15 on the day. Hell of a trade. I'm out. That's all I needed to see was a little bit of green. Now I can go eat some food in confidence. Maybe I could go pick up a deli sandwich for $15. So just wanted to see some green. Saw some volume coming in. Terrible trade execution because it didn't pay me at all with no volume. But this thing still has some room down to this low of the day. If you want to hit this 394.58 potential, I think now is the time it could start to break down. Bollinger Band's starting to get that way. We're coming down in. I probably sold a little too early, but I'm done watching the chop. I'm done getting chopped out of stocks, and I was just taking my profits so I could be green on the day. That's a lot of days in a row of green. I really want to get this above 500 today. I will try to be back if I can see anything in the next hour or two, but this was a pretty decent decent spike down with that volume coming in. That's why I'm telling you, volume is literally everything. As soon as you see a spike in volume, which is this blue thing, you'll see a lot more sellers to come. So it tried to break out. You see a big reversal here with a lot of volume. This is signifying that sellers are here and they're probably here to stay. So these went up from 610. I don't remember where I got involved. I think 500. I ended up taking 40 bucks. Could have made 110 bucks, but there's no opportunities today. So I'm opting out. There's no volume in the market. This could potentially be one spike up to this 39,512, and then we hit that low of the day. I actually might stay here for one last trade because this is a nice setup. The 15-minute is starting to push down a little bit here. If I can see a green candle, this is usually what happens. When you see a really big red candle like this, you'll see one more green candle up here. It'll try to spike back its way up, and then you'll see one more big red candle. So I forget where I sold these at 540 maybe. So I want to see if I can get this back up to like maybe 39,516. Let's see if we can purchase these for 500 again. Oh yeah. Let's see if we can get it. I got in at 520. That's a pretty high fill. I don't like that. I'm going to be red on the day, and I'm going to be pissed. I'm going to do 470 stop. It seems like buyers are trying to come in here a little bit. Yeah, fuck. I think I got hit. I just lost 60 bucks. Damn. I put my stop loss at 60. Now I'm down $5. Damn it! I almost had it. They're retesting this uptrend, though, so I am going to wait for that. My stop loss would be above this uptrend test, but a lot of the times when you see these sell-off candles, you'll see a consolidation candle and then some sell-off, but it looks like there's a lot of volatility happening right now, which is pretty scary. I might push my stop loss up, go to 480. Looks like this could be a sell candle one more time. A lot of sell pressure here. I'm going to push this up to 520. I'm going to stop myself out flat, I think. Unless we can get out a little bit more. Oh, there we go. There it is. There's that sell I was looking for. Come on. Push me down. Push me down. Push me down. 590. I think that we could get out of here pretty easily. There's a lot of volatility right now. I don't like that. For some reason, it's all over the place. I'm going to try and get out at 570 potentially. I'm going to take that gain. I feel like it's going to head down to that low of the day. I don't like that, but we are up 75 on the day. It retested this downtrend. There's just a lot of weird action today. So that was a pretty stupid fill, stupid trade, but I was trying to catch that little consolidation candle around this 39517. It's going to start running too. What did I get out at? 6. Missed out on a little 40, 50 bucks. I think that this could run to that low. So if you're in, I feel like you're okay. I could give you some commentary about this, but this 15-minute chart did just break down very heavily over here on the bottom right. Looks like we're headed right towards that low. So if you're in on this, I feel like you're okay. I would probably move your stop loss up if you got any execution near me, but looks pretty good. So now we can get a nice meal for 75 bucks, guys. We can get a real nice meal. I'm going to try to push that to 500 later today. I just want to see some volatility, and we're starting to get some volume, so I think we're going to start to see some good moves here in a little bit. Yeah, I think that if you're in this right now, this 630 mark is probably a really good sell point. Those just ran 130 bucks. I missed out on a little bit, but just wanted to cash out. I just wanted to be green today. I was just facing small red all day, and it kept bouncing on me, so I was just trying to take some profit. But I know $75 is literally $0, but I'm not going to be able to trade in this low volatility market. So as you can see, it's starting to bounce now. So I would think it's still going to get here. I think it's going to be a little bit of a slow chop, but at least I went out and made $100 back before we hopped off. So I'm up 180 here. This stop loss really pisses me off because I was up quite a bit on it. And yeah, that's about it. But all right, now I'm done. King always wins. Angela, that's all I needed to see before I walked away. God, I love you so much. But all right, guys, I'll be back on either later today or tomorrow. And if there's no volatility, don't expect me to hop back on because I don't want to just show you guys that I'm going to make $75 on a $500 trade. That doesn't really make sense. So I want to make sure I'm providing as much value as possible and the best entry points as possible, talk through the trades. And if I'm just quickly scalping in and out, that doesn't help anybody but me. So That's not what I'm here for. But I want to help you guys out. I think it could see this low of the day mark. Just be very careful. If you're going to do anything, make sure it's very small losses, stop losses, very, very small. And make sure your executions are at key levels like these uptrends and downtrend tests. So that's all I got. Maybe look at Tesla for a reversal. It looks pretty decent. These big green candles at the bottom of these usually signify some sort of reversal, but it's not moving either. So I think today is just a wash. Ended up going up $75 on that last little snippet episode, but this thing is starting to reverse a little bit here. I don't know. I don't see too much. But anyways, if you guys need me, hit me up. I don't think I'm going to be back on for at least till 3 o'clock. And if I don't see any opportunity by 3, I'll see you guys tomorrow at 9:30.